Do you own a bulldog or a pug? Well, if you do, it's important to understand something called brachycephalic syndrome. You may or may not have heard of that, but these dogs, English bulldogs, French bulldogs, pugs, sometimes Boston terriers, breeds that are bred to have these cute short snouts can have an issue. Now the issue is that the bones are short but the soft tissues are not. You ever notice that these dogs snore a lot? They make this sound because the soft tissues inside their airway are getting caught and their airway is becoming obstructed. These may sound cute when they're young, and these dogs usually compensate pretty well when they're young, but as they get older it can start to cause them problems. The airway collapse progresses, the soft palate can get thicker, the soft tissues in the pharynx can start to collapse inwards, and we really get into trouble when it starts to move down into their larynx. And if you ever drink a really thick milkshake and the straw starts to fold inwards, well, that's what happens to the larynx of these dogs. They start to develop something called laryngeal collapse because things progress as they get older. So if I were to draw their nose kind of looks something like this, and it's kind of this M shape to it, and there's supposed to be airflow through there. And you'll notice, so you look on a Labrador, they've got a big gap there, but on these dogs they don't. So there's a surgery we perform here called an aloplasty, where we cut this wedge out of here, and we expand, we rotate that so we expand their airway, and then air can flow. The other thing we do when their soft palate is very long, we check that and we shorten the soft palate, so that's what's causing the sort of snoring sound here at the back of their throat. And if we catch that when they're young and we shorten that, that makes it much easier for them to breathe, and then the other problems don't progress as much. Other things we see, they have less incidence of reflux, and they have issues with hiatal hernias because they're breathing against this obstructed airway, and we've shown that improving the airway can help that as well. So anybody that owns a bulldog, a pug, any of these dogs that have trouble breathing, we recommend doing these simple surgical procedures earlier. If we address their nose and palate when they're young, we greatly improve their quality of life.